Hey everyone, I'm Selena Hill, and this is the new norm on Black Enterprise. Today, I have the honor to speak with entrepreneur, investor, and two-time NBA All-Star, Baron Davis, who is also an investor in CommunityX, a new social media platform founded by Chloe Cheyenne Rogers that connects activists, organizations, and community leaders locally and globally around shared causes and movements. I am super happy to have you both here with us today, Chloe and Baron.
Thanks for having us, Lena.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lena. It's so dope.
No. So, Chloe, let's start with you. Can you tell us more about CommunityX, its mission, and when and why you launched it?
Sure. So I'm Chloe. I'm the founder and CEO of CommunityX, which is a new social network for social good that connects like-minded change makers and activists with one another around similar causes, as well as calls to action like events and petitions. I'm actually originally from Chicago. I went to Howard School of Business for undergrad, graduated with an offer to Google, worked there for a few years before coming up with the initial idea for this product, which happened shortly after Mike Brown Jr. was murdered in Ferguson, because my dad, who is African American, is a survivor of an extreme case of a similar kind of police misconduct that left him permanently handicapped with a bullet still lodged in his spine to this day. And so after I saw what happened to Mike Brown Jr. and his family, obviously me and my family related to it on a deeply personal level. And my immediate thing was that I wanted to be able to connect with other people who cared about these issues like me, and found that there was no platform that existed to be able to do that.
Wow, that's such a powerful story. And Chloe, we've definitely covered your story in depth at Black Enterprise, as we've also covered Baron. So happy to have you two, together here. But, Chloe, just to talk a little bit more about CommunityX, what really differentiates it from other social media platforms that activists are using now to organize and mobilize?
Yeah, I think the first level is trust and integrity. We've all seen the issues that Facebook and Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, have had around data privacy, security, shadow banning, and censorship. And a lot of those issues affect our target demographic, which is, again, activists and change makers. So that's the first thing we solve by creating this new social network for social good, is that we're really intentional about our terms of service and our privacy policy and putting our users first. The second layer is the algorithm that we've built. So the algorithms that traditionally run platforms like TikTok or Instagram are really built to favor white beauty attributes and popularity. And that's how TikTok stars or Instagram models are created, is because their content is filtered to the top based on what that algorithm is looking for. And so for us, when we created ours, we said what's really important to us is understanding who people are, where they are, and what specific things they care about. And that's how we're going to filter and promote and popularize content on the CommunityX platform.
That's wonderful. Baron, what is it that attracted you to CommunityX, and how did you hear about it?
I was introduced to Chloe through just a person I met. It's a mutual connection, and he was like, "Yo, you have to meet this young lady. I think she would be incredible, to speak on one of your panels." At the time, we had just partnered with the NBPA to, talk about social change, social justice, leading up into while they were in the bubble, but leading up to the election, also the Atlanta election. Georgia election. And, met Chloe, sat down. She had just moved to LA and really just fell in love with, the story, but more importantly, like the problem that she was solving, right? And, someone like myself, I'm not a Facebook user. I've never really used Facebook at all, to be honest. And when you think about, these platforms and, I love social media, I love engaging. But when you start thinking about, the beauty and the simplicity of being able to connect with like-minded people all around the world to fight a social cause, right? To, champion a law, to have a petition, to, have a rallying cry, that has never been done before. And so our mission at Big is to, get behind Black men and women, people of color, LGBTQ, but really, for me, it's to look out for my people. And, I've had a good career in the NBA, but I think, my best is yet to come if I kind of take what I learned in the NBA and really just champion these entrepreneurs that we need their platforms and we need them to be in the forefront, especially for us as people, as Black people. We need some of these unicorns and successes to happen in our own community. And so that's why, I want to step up and, make those investments and tell people like, yo, this is where it's at.
Speaking of investments, Baron, and champion entrepreneurs, you were one of the original investors in vitamin water, and you helped launch Thrive Market. What qualities does a company or founder need to have in order to spark your interest?
I think passion, knowledge of the subject, and, how disruptive can they be, right? What is their angle? For me, I think when I look at investing, it's in like, where is my dollars going to count? But not so much my dollars, but where can I count, right? And so, vitamin water taught me to invest in myself and invest in a company that can grow past me. Thrive was, something that, one, I wanted to be a part of because I felt we weren't getting healthy food, right? And we didn't have the opportunity to have, access to, clean food or bundle packs, right? And, Thrive was one of those things that we need to be investing in companies like these as athletes and people like that to have a piece of the rock. And then you look at a company like COMMUNITYx, and it's like, how can I invest? How can I sit shoulder to shoulder with Chloe, right? And how can we bring our networks together, right? How can we use platforms like Black Enterprise and say, hey, Black people, sign up, you know what I mean? Sign your ass up because, we don't stop complaining about Mark Zuckerberg, stop complaining about what we don't have. Let's invest in what we have, right? And I think that's the whole, beauty of, where we are now is now we have a little chutzpah, right? And a little say-so and a brand that we can help, amplify these entrepreneurs.
Chloe, how did it feel to have Baron as a part of your investor network?
It was a really big step forward for us. We had actually just finished raising a crowd finance campaign on Start Engine. And so it was a really good way for us to kick off our seed round with him. And this seed round for us is monumental because it allows us to really identify our product market fit and then double down from there in our product roadmap and really scale this out to become the global platform that we know it could be. So partnering with Baron at that stage of the company was really, really critical for us.
Can you talk more about the seed round and how much you raised since COMMUNITYx launched in 2018? And how you were able to raise the funds?
Yeah, so since we launched, we've raised almost $1 million. For their seed round, we're raising $2 million, and we're at a little over $500,000 closed. So that's where we are right now. And our initial round was a family and friends round, and now we're seed. After that, we'll be raising a Series A. And typically the way it works is startups like ours raise every 12 to 18 months.
That's amazing. What is it that you hope this app accomplishes, Baron? Now that you're on board, Chloe's doing a great job in raising money. What do you want to ultimately accomplish?
Connectivity, shared information. I would say that to me, if I want to do something, if I want to help some kids, if I'm in, Atlanta for TNT or New York, and, I think this app is going to basically, I look at this app as like the woke app, right? And everybody's been screaming about being woke and want to be woke. It's like when I get to New York and I'm having business and, you know, I can tap in and say, what can I do today to help somebody further their mission and their cause? And if I can't physically be there, I can tweet, I can post, I can, you know what I mean? I can comment, I can help amplify. And so the connectivity within our community, right, is going to be what, you know, what I'm looking for, because I think that's going to affect ultimate change.
For sure. Chloe, and what is it that you want this app to ultimately do? What's the ultimate goal?
Yeah, I think it directly aligns with what Baron just said. We are looking to build a better connected humanity through the tools and the algorithm that we've built on this app. So the idea is that people have a central place where they can go to build these cause-specific communities. And then when a need arises where you need to mobilize people around an event or a petition or a donation campaign, you already know you can go to your COMMUNITYx app because you have 10,000 people mobilized around women's rights, and you can get this petition signed much quicker if you can just easily ping it out to them in that moment of need. So that's the idea, is to just build a better connected humanity and drive more efficiency within this space, leveraging technology.
For sure. Can we also talk about your sweatshirt? Is that some of the merch that's a part of the COMMUNITYx campaign? Oh, you're both wearing COMMUNITYx. Both.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. COMMUNITYx. Look at that. So
Fire.
talk about them like it is fire. It is. How can we tap in? Are they up for purchase? Like, how can we get our hands on that?
Yes, they are for sale. Absolutely. Download and buy a sweater.
Okay.
Yeah, so we actually have the wait list up for the app right now. We're getting ready to do a big relaunch on March 31st, which also happens to be the 32nd anniversary of when my dad was nearly killed by Chicago police. So this launch date is really important for us right now. Anyone who's watching can go to the website and join the wait list. And then on the 31st, we'll be reintroducing the app to the market. And our merch will be available on our website as well.
And once people sign up for the app, what can they expect? Is it like Twitter? Is it more like Clubhouse? What actually, like, how does the app work?
Yeah, so you download the app, and the first time user flow, like the sign up flow, is pretty simple. You just tell us who you are, where you are, if you choose to share that information, and what specific causes you care about, whether that's women's rights, the climate, education, poverty, voter suppression, whatever those issues are. And then we take that data to be able to immediately build your experience on the app, show you content that's relevant, calls to action that are relevant, and also connect you to like-minded people in this space.
That's so cool, so dope. I know a lot of us cannot wait to launch it and for it to launch so we can get on COMMUNITYx. And Baron, you know, you've had one of the most decorated post NBA careers to date. You know, you've definitely been, you know, dipping in it and diving into acting, entrepreneurship, investing. You know, I think the last time we spoke, it was around the Black Santa company. I still have my Black Santa hat too, by the way. Super dope. What's next for you? It just seems like, you know, you're just always moving and doing stuff.
I think for us, raising a fund, that's going to be next. And, you know, when we raise a fund, we'll be able to do more, right? But also just looking at, you know, we've been developing some technology around, you know, creative rights, talent rights, publisher rights, and, you know, just really thinking about this new, you know, crypto, blockchain, NFT space for us. And, you know, for me, it's like, look, we need to start plugging in, building our own pipes, building our own ecosystem. And I think this is a great opportunity for, you know, our culture, right? Our history, our archives, our songs, our pictures, our photos to be stored in our own digital museum. And so, you know, my mission now is, you know, over the next 2 or 3 months to launch our platform, Slick Sports, Lifestyle, and Culture. And it's a blockchain technology that is a watermark, copyright, and smart license. on any digital asset. And so, basically you'll be able to plug in all your photos, if you go to a march or you go to a rally, right, you get to, the photographers get to kind of mint and own, the rights to their photos, and really creating a Getty images, for our culture.
Wow, that is super dope. We will definitely stay abreast on that and the launch. So please definitely follow up. We would love to support it. And lastly, do you think that, as we've seen so many WNBA players step up, so many NBA players step up, particularly in 2020 after George Floyd died. I had a, conversation with Stephen Jackson, who was lifelong friends with George Floyd. Do you think enough athletes are stepping up and using their platforms, or do you think that a lot of people are still holding back?
No, I think, when you look at who set it off, it was Stephen Jackson, athlete. Who stepped up? Dame Lillard, Jaylen Brown, right? These dudes frontline, Malcolm Brogdon, who set out, like, nobody has ever set out an NBA play. Like, they set out the playoffs, you know what I mean? And so as much criticism they be getting, they've been active, you know what I mean? And the athletes have been, extremely active. And I think that, one, is there enough? Yeah, there's plenty. We just need to unite those voices. And the crazy thing, I know I'm about to say something crazy, but even the dudes who are stepping up saying ignorant shit, right? At least we know, right? At least we know. And I think that, for us, it's really about, the more and more athletes start talking, right? The more and more we're just going to see what our true reality is, and then what our true perception is with other athletes, right? Who, they need to come around, and so it's at this point, it's a leadership thing, right? It's a personality thing. And, when you look at Stephen Jackson, you look at Deshaun Jackson, you look at, Jaylen Brown, like, these dudes, they're not going to be moved, right? And so, the great thing about athletes is that they do have a lot of money, right? And back in the day, people who were Black who had a lot of money never said shit. And these guys are saying stuff, right? And so you can't take their money away, you can't take their rights away. And, they're actually putting their voice in front, and their actual physical presence and their money behind it. And so it's just really taking a platform like COMMUNITYx and using, all these voices to align back, right, to our community, back to our amplification of whatever we want to talk about.
And Chloe, will the app be inviting to those who are athletes or celebrities, or do you want it to be a little bit more grassroots and keep it on, like, the local level for, like, the activists that are doing a lot of the legwork and a lot of the heavy lifting?
Yeah, I think the beauty of what we're building is that it's for anyone who wants to make a positive change, whatever that change may be. And so that's why the opportunity is so big for our app, because even though my family's personal experience is very tied to police brutality, it's for anybody who wants to make a difference. We saw, recently in India, farmers' rights were being, taken away. And so it's for those people. It's for people here who are fighting for racial justice. It's for people in Brazil who are fighting for transgender rights. It's for people everywhere around the world. And that's why we say built for activists and change makers.
Absolutely. Well, let us know once again how we can download and lean into COMMUNITYx.
Yeah, so right now, anyone can go to the website, www.communityx.tech, TECH, and sign up for the waitlist. And then again, we'll be launching the app on March 31st.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Chloe and Baron. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you. I love me some Black enterprise. I'm just letting y'all know that. I love me some Black enterprise. Y'all keep it going.
Oh, absolutely. Friends of the company. We would love to have you at some of these conferences and talks and panels and coverage. We'll keep it coming for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.